Instant gratification is a task that feels great, enjoyable in the moment, but once that's passed, it doesn't feel great. You feel that you have less energy, you feel miserable, you feel groggy, whatever. For example, eating sugar. That's an instant gratification task. Because in the moment, eating the sugar, eating the candy, the chocolate, it tastes great. But once the moment is passed, you now crave for that. You crave for that feeling because that feeling doesn't carry on. And if you copious amounts of it, then you feel groggy, you physically ache. That is that is an instant gratifying task. Other instant gratifying tasks counts towards video games, drugs and alcohol, masturbation, scrolling on social media. Like, what the hell? How do you feel how do you feel joy in long term doing something like that? I don't understand. But that's because while doing the task, it feels great. I've been through there, but it doesn't that feeling doesn't carry on. You don't feel fulfilled in doing it. You don't feel proud in doing that thing. Waking up in the morning, the first thing you do is grab your phone and scroll for an hour or two, or masturbate first thing in the morning, or 8 times a day. Like, my goodness, that doesn't feel great afterwards. Do you really feel proud in doing that afterwards? Like, that is why instant gratification is so dangerous. So, to break it down, why it's not really dangerous, but it diminishes the mind. It makes the mind weaker. Because what it does is that, so you start off at a dopamine amount, and then when doing the task, it goes up. But once the task is passed, it goes back down. But it goes back down further than what you started off with. So then, the more times you do it, the further that enjoyment goes, and you try to indulge more into that task, that instant gratifying task, to bring that happiness, that dopamine back up to what it's at, but it never does. It keeps going back down. That's an addiction. That's a bad habit. Like, why? What's the point in doing that? Instead, you should delay gratification. So what this is it's a task that doesn't feel great, although for some people it may actually be enjoyable while doing. But what delaying gratification is that once the task is done, you feel good about it. You feel fulfilled in doing it. You feel proud in doing it. Such as going to the gym. The task itself may not feel great. You want to stop. But once you're done, you feel, wow, I'm glad I did that. Because your blood's now pumping, your muscles are activated, you feel warm, you feel energized. That's a delayed gratification. Starting a business, reading a book, like finishing the book, reading that last page, that feels so incredible, that sense of accomplishment, finishing a book. The amount of knowledge you can get from a book is insane. So, instead of indulging in so many bad habits, so many bad tasks, that instant gratification, just delay it, and you actually become more happy. Because with delaying gratification, so you have that dopamine line again. During the task, it goes down just a bit, if not stays level, because the task may feel bad, unless reading a book, going to the gym feels great, then it goes up. But usually it stays level, goes down a bit, and then once the task is done, you feel accomplished finishing it. So then your dopamine shoots up, and it stays there for a long time. So now, after doing a delayed gratifying task, you feel happier overall than if you were to do a instant gratifying task, which just goes up and then down, farther. That's why you need to stop doing these bad habits. Because not only do they have a hindrance on yourself, mentally and physically, they can have a hindrance on your social life, your relationship life, whatever. Because by indulging into those, now you revolve your life around that task. For an example, the video games. If you indulge too much into video games, not does it only physically hinder you because you're just sitting down for hours at a time, no movement, you eat terrible food at the same time, but then you're not communicating with so many people in person. Yes, you may be talking to them over Discord, over a phone call, whatever. The Xbox chat, I haven't used that in ages. Humans are social creatures. You have to talk to somebody in person to get that serotonin level up. That serotonin is what puts you in a good mood. And then also playing with video games, you're just sitting there hours at a time. Usually, if you've played a game long enough, if you're playing it more than once, then your face just becomes blah, like mouth open, breathing heavily for no reason, doing this task. And if there is a point of enjoyment, you're like, you don't actually express anything. Same with the masturbation part. By indulging yourself into that sexual stimulus, by immersing yourself in something in unrealistic expectation, then when you actually get out there, find a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and it actually comes to a situation like that, or even just the relationship itself, it will hinder it. Because you're expecting this unrealistic reality that you've immersed yourself in. Trying to look for that dopamine that's lost through doing that instant gratifying task. And then by immersing yourself into that, then you're wasting time out of your day, which you could be doing something productive. Doing that. Once, twice, 3, 8 times a day. Why? When you could be spending that time, which can add up to hours in a day, reading, gaining knowledge, hanging out, friends, your tribe, family, strengthening bonds between people. Like, stop with instant gratification. Start delaying them. Puts you in a better mood overall and creates a stronger body and mind. Going to the gym, you get stronger, fitter, you can run longer, lift more weight. Circulation runs better, you feel better. Reading, you gain wisdom and knowledge that you can teach to others. You can teach your children. Be a role model for them. And then alcohol, drugs, those just instant gratification. So many people fall to it. By delaying your gratification, you also increase mental toughness. You increase discipline. Because you're holding off a task. You're holding off that. I guess not really holding it off. You're more or less pushing yourself through a uncomfortability. Which then, if that hurdle comes at you throughout your life, just out of nowhere, then you can handle it easily. Like as if it even wasn't an obstacle. Because you have that mental toughness. In conclusion, stop indulging and start delaying. Because you become more happy overall. You feel more proud. You feel more accomplished. And who doesn't want that? Now just remember, every day is always great. It just depends on how you spend it. Love you.